Good afternoon, everybody. Gloomy day. Looks like winter is finally coming after wearing shorts and t-shirts to state playoff games the last couple weeks. One more team left in the Shore Conference. Point Borough will be playing for the Group 2 state title. It would be their first one in school history. That game will be Saturday up at Franklin at 5:30 p.m. So we wish them luck. But today we have a legendary coach in the Shore Conference, won the first state title for Ocean County back when the Shore Conference was eligible to play in state tournaments. Four state titles, just finished his 31st season at Brick Memorial, collected his over 400th career win. Coach Billy Caruso. Coach, thank you for taking time out today to talk soccer.
Well, thank you. Hey, anytime you want to talk, I think it's my third time now. Anytime you want to talk
Yes.
soccer, I'll spend the afternoon with you talking high school girls soccer any day of the year. Talking any high school sports. I love high school sports.
Yes, you and I think Coach Patterson are the two coaches from the soccer side that have been on and then I had Frank on, obviously this past summer talk about RBC, but this is a positive talk here. So first, I want to congratulate you, your 400th career win and during the season.
Thank
And
you.
I know we talked last year a little bit about it because you were getting close and you had a very strong team last year. A good amount of players coming back this year, and then after that, you got a strong class this year, but brick soccer and the overall town seems to be dipping on the youth level. So let's just talk about, when was your first year when you started
Mm,
coaching at Brick and Mortar?
I started as the freshman coach in 1992,
Mhm.
and then in '95 I got the head job.
Head job. Now, for people that don't know, 1995 Shore Conference still they played soccer in the spring for girls, while the rest of the state played in the fall, like it currently is. So Shore Conference teams were not eligible to participate in the state tournament. How disappointing was that? You being coach and
To be honest, it wasn't because at the time I was our. So when I graduated college, I stayed 2 years down at Stockton and helped coach the men's team there. And I'll use help coach very lightly because I was my first coaching job, and I learned a lot under Tim Lenahan, but didn't do a lot. Then I came back to Brick Memorial with the boys in the fall, so I was all in on the boys. The
okay.
girls was kind of like was fun to coach. It wasn't my passion or my dream to coach that. So to be honest with you, at first, like I still had the fall in the state tournament with the boys, and that was very exciting. So it just never, I guess, entered my mind about coaching because I was enjoying coaching not two sports, but two seasons in high
Okay.
school. So, and then who knew? Who knew when we moved to the fall it'd be the greatest, like getting the girls' job and the Shore Conference moving to the fall.
All right,
Or
guys, sorry about that. Technology difficulty right there. We're going to continue where we left off. Coach, you were talking about how it was, the greatest thing. It ended up being the greatest thing when the girls moved and you had to choose, basically you went to the girls' side, and then you had to give up coaching on the boys' side.
yeah, it's what just the fall is an exciting time in high school. It's you got football season and it's just kids are excited to be there. By June, girls are more worried about the prom. I hate to say it sounds sexist, but back then they were more worried about the prom than they're really worried about the end of the season. So it is definitely the best thing ever. And at first, I feel like all the girls coaches we were kind of opposed because a lot of the girls coaches also coach boys, and so we weren't crazy about the idea. And in hindsight, how stupid were we? It's the best thing that happened to Shore Conference girls soccer by a lot.
I'm glad you actually said it because that was actually going to be a question. How did the coaches feel when they decided to move the girls' sport? So that makes sense now. Because coaches, if you coach the girls, you probably coach. You were on the boys' staff
Right.
as well. So now your team finished in the top 20 twice in the country.
Yes, 95 and 99. There's a 95. We win the Shore Conference tournament, so technically we're the number one team in New Jersey in the spring poll. So
Uh-huh.
I'm sure that has something to do with how we finished it. And And then 99, we were 24-1. We were number 2 in New Jersey. Immaculate Heart ended up being number 1, and I like that one was legit. That was a solid team in a good New Jersey. So that one's a little bit more legit, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I remember all the shore there was a lot of good shore conference teams too before the move to the fall. The Middletown North I know was very strong in the mid to late
Mm-hmm.
'90s. St. Rose, where I went, I know they were very strong on the girl, and a couple years later, Lacey had a few good strong
Yeah.
teams in the late '90s, and then RBC came on strong at the late '90s, early 2000s. So there was a lot of talent, and just talk about the '99 team a little. Some of the players on that '99 team.
We had ended up being, I want to say, we that year we had 2 first team All Staters. And then on that team, in the next 4 years, the kids that came up, I want to say we had like 5 first team. Every starter on that team except for 2 I want to say, was a first or second, third team All State or 100-point scorer. I mean, we were loaded. And at that point, though, you do have good shore conference teams, but also the bottom is very far away from the top. It's not like now. Now your bottom teams, there's not that much difference. Back
Mm-hmm.
then, your top teams were much better. So it was kind of a difficult coaching job. My buddy John Pirani, JP, who's been with me forever, the 2 of us back then, we used to have to try to figure out how are we making practice as hard as we can because we're blowing teams out in the regular season. So that was a big part of it. And then they had your short conference one was still good because your top teams were good. We beat RBC the last game of the regular season 3-1, and then we ended up losing to them in the finals. So, but that was a really good team.
I think you kind of mentioned when we did our first podcast back during COVID. I think you brought up about playing the same team twice. If they're a weaker team, how do you keep your team motivated if you won the first game 6-7-0, and then you got to meet them again and try to keep them motivated where they're like, oh, we walked over them the last time, and then
Right.
vice versa. If you lost the game to a team, how do you convince them, hey, we could get them back this time? So, and that was going back to when you played the same team in the division twice.
Right.
Are you a fan of only? Do you like? Did you like it better that way, playing the same division twice,
Um,
or?
I kind of go back and forth. I know, like like the good teams have trouble picking up games out of the division, and we did for years. And then even when we kind of fell off the mountaintop, like we were still. I don't want to say we were living off our name, but people were living off our name and didn't want to pick us up either. And I'm like, guys, we're not the team we were 10 years ago. So I do like playing a lot of teams in a short conference, but I understand the top tier teams, which we were for a long time. They don't like it because teams just don't want to play them. So I do
Yeah.
get both sides. And there was one year we played Jackson Memorial 4 times, and that's rough playing the same team 4 times, playing in the short conference tournament and then in the state tournament.
Yeah, you see that, especially in Group Two for basketball, because you play regular season, and then if you happen to meet them in the shore, and then you just meet them in the sectional, you end up playing the same team 4 times.
I feel like
That
Wall and Rumston have that right now. I feel like they're playing each
yeah,
other
yes,
multiple times every year.
yes. So, when did they switch? What was that like? Right after COVID, they switched, or was it before COVID, where you only played once,
It was in the COVID year we played
twice?
back to back because they
Yeah.
wanted to limit exposure.
Hmm.
And to be honest with you, I don't remember if it was the year before or the year after, and we
Hmm.
went back to it for a year and then went back to the single. It might have been the year before, but don't hold me to that one.
Okay. Now your team, last couple of years a good run, but there was a little gap where, 2-win season I think you had.
Yeah.
Um, what what do you think happened there? Because I always say, especially for basketball, public school teams, they don't have the luxury of going out like private school teams and,
Right.
quote unquote recruit or whatever. But and me coaching back then, Brick was always very strong on the club level. And do you think the academy programs kind of changed that for towns
Um,
where kids are going all over now and playing their club team?
part of it, I think. I think soccer in general has become like a rich kid sport, and Brick
Hmm.
isn't a rich town. And I will say, though, our clubs in town are building back up on the younger level. They're, will I be around to reap those rewards? I don't know, but they are building back up. But I could be totally wrong, but I think when soccer really became a money sport, like that's when Brick started to struggle. Brick the town, I mean, as far as soccer. And we had our peaks and valleys in there, but for years we were good for years.
Yeah.
But we were always blue collar good. We were always grinded out good. We were never that pretty. And I'm not saying we didn't play possession soccer and knock the ball around, have really good players. We were always, though, a blue collar, like grunt and grind it out type of team.
Um, I'm on the Google website, which I think every school program should do this with the history
No,
of
it was
curriculum
fun
work.
doing that. It was a lot of fun to do that. I really like. I'm a nut anyway, but I had a lot of fun researching all the game. How to go to the library and find like old Times Observer. I had a lot of fun doing that website.
Now, playing A South, very competitive, even if A South is considered, down maybe, but A South is old. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
plays each other super hard. Do you think that also helps prepare, your team? And, you look at Jackson this year, they were under 500 and they end up winning the sectional. You're playing that tough schedule.
That hurt a little bit right there, but go on.
Uh, do you think that helps prepare for the sectional tournament?
100%, 100%. Like when we were in our glory years, like obviously our A South games are great, and then we went out. We went looking. We went to. We used to go to East Brunswick, Immaculate Heart, a couple other schools up north. Like, and we would travel and seek out the best teams and play them, and it helps a ton. It makes you tournament ready, and like you have to figure out in your head: do I care about PowerPoints and losing games, or like? And to be honest with you, if you're not like, I get it. A number one seed playing home all the way through is a big difference. Like, and
Hmm.
then you got to really think about it. But if you're not going to be the number one seed, we went to the finals 2 years ago as a 5. Jackson was what, a 3? Yeah, they were a 3 this year. If that doesn't count, but they still had a good seed. But like, you got to figure out what you want to do. And then when we came off our bad years and just started in the last 5 or 6 years, started being good again. The first couple of years, I didn't want to go out and play good teams because we needed to really believe we were good. And even though we were good, I wanted the girls to believe we were good. And even if those weren't necessarily, they were like Rocky 3 wins where we weren't playing the best team but winning games. And now the kids start to believe, and then you start going out and you're picking up good teams again.
That was actually going to be my next question. You had that low, and then, well, how did how did you coach it when you saw that the team was getting better and better? So you basically just answered that, and you're part of that run right now. Next question I wanted to, you got to coach your daughters. How exciting, and how exciting, how difficult is it to coach your daughters?
Yeah, I love the fact that I coach my daughters. I don't think my daughters love them all the time. I did try to do my best, like leave it on the field, and I really did. I think I did a good job of being fair. Like there was a lot of year, like their sophomore and junior year, pretty much every game, like my first sub in the midfield was Mia, and my first sub up top. I don't want to ever say like I'm favoring my kids. So I think I tried. I'd like to think I did a really good job of separating dad and coach. And I said this last year until the day of the sectional finals last year. And then we talked about it so much. Them growing up, we talked about winning a state title or a sectional title. And then we were like one loss away from it never happening. And then I felt very dad. Like I was a nervous wreck extra. I'm a nervous wreck anyway, and I'm a pacer, and I'll get to the school 5 hours before the game and just pace around the locker room. But like I started feeling it that last year, like maybe my promise, like I didn't get the, like you want to give your kids what you promised them, but it was very special. It really was fun, coach my daughters, especially. It was just as fun having my daughters with me when they were little girls on the sideline, and I think that's what built it so much up for our family. Them watching these good players play and dreaming of one day getting to play. And And when I brought my 5, 6, 7-year-old daughters to Brick Memorial game, I might as well brought them to like the U.S. national team. In their eyes, those girls were, and we always had, even when we weren't winning, we always had like great kids, and we always had good players here and there. Just when we were winning, we just didn't have enough of them. So it was really special for my family. And then luckily, when COVID hit, we were out of a coach with the boys team. So I started helping on the boys team. And then when they got a head coach, I was like, I feel invested now. So I got to coach my son too. So like, I know every parent wishes their kids were little again, not me. Like those 5 high school years when my kids were in high school or what I dreamed about and what I couldn't wait for my kids to put on a green and gold uniform. And it was just a whole lot of fun. Looking back, I'm sure it was a whole lot of fun for my daughters at times, but it was definitely special.
You brought them when, 5, 6. A lot has, you created a very family atmosphere. And I just wanted to bring up, their graduating class, how close that group was, Chloe, Gabby,
And Ashley, yeah.
Ashley. Just you got to see them growing up together from when they were little, how just to see your daughters do it with their best friends too.
Yeah. Like when you coach your daughters, you coach their best friends too, and it's different whether you want to admit it or not. It's almost as hard as coaching your daughters because you've known those kids, and a lot of kids I've known because I'm in the middle school, so there's a lot of kids I've known a long time. But it's different when those kids are sleeping over your house, and it made it even more special winning with the 5 of them. And then for like the next 3 months when Chloe walked to my house, I smiled every time Chloe walked in the front door. It's definitely, it's special. It's, I think every year I coach a Brick World special. I challenge anyone to love. There's a hell of a lot better coaches out there than me, but I challenge anybody to love what they do as much as I love coaching at Brick Memorial.
What was they had that tough, hard defeat their junior year to Middletown South. What was your message your senior year going into that same situation in Middletown South? What was your message last year before the sectional final?
Yeah, I might have overcoached it too much, but we played that hurt up a lot, and it hurt. Like I've been on buses with kids crying. That loss, it was weeping. There was a difference in the cry. It was the hardest bus ride I've ever taken home after a game, and I've taken a lot of heartbreaking losses. So we like every time there's a little bit of lull in practice. Like, do you want to get a bus and maybe I was a bit of a jerk about it, but when we were running sprints, like we're running these because we don't want to get on a bus and cry again, and everything came back to we don't want to get on a bus and cry again. So it hurt, and it was. And I don't know if it should have hurt as much as it did because it was just 2 great teams.
Yeah.
Like we've had the last 3 years, we've had some phenomenal. Every time we play Middletown South, it's gone to double overtime. So it was a great little rivalry right there for those years. And like it probably shouldn't have hurt as much because it was 2 just really, really good teams playing in an epic game. And they just, if there was more time, we might have tied it up again. That's the type of game it was. So. But we definitely it hurt us, and we used that to motivate us.
One play, I want to bring up, Giselle. She won an award for her sportsmanship after winning the time. Just so, she when I had her on the interview, she brought up how she was on the opposite end the year before, and it was just right. And I even this year, lost in the shootout. You could see both goalies consoling each other after that. Just talk about Giselle and what she's meant to the program and her transforming from a field player to a goalie for you.
Yeah, it's incredible the fact that freshman year Giselle wasn't a goalkeeper, like and where she is now. It's just and she's just a great kid, great family. Giselle's dad was my son's travel baseball coach, so I've known Giselle since she's been a little girl, and she's always been the sweetest, nicest kid in the world. And then she steps on the field and like. She's just a badass and she's so tough and so fierce, but she's able to to live that fine line where like where sportsmanship she doesn't ever cross that line, which I wish I could say that about me as a player and a lot of my players. It's hard. It's easy to say it. It's hard to do. Like after the game, you come back to earth and you're like, but Giselle never, ever crosses that line. And it's a great compliment for her.
Different. I was at the Eastern Central game, and I text Jamie this from Eastern saying how impressed I was when their game went to the shootout. His goalie wished Addison at Central good luck in between every round. And that just they're playing for sectional title, and there's still the sportsmanship there, which really really impressed me. What's going on through, because I don't think that would have happened when we were in
Yeah.
school.
Yeah,
So it's just
goalies are like a separate little like
yeah.
sorority cult, whatever you want to call it. They feel each other's pain, and they're like, you don't see field players going over and wishing them good luck. Like I said, they know the pressure they're under, and I think it's kind of neat that they share that.
I'll just talk about this season a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't start off, too strong. Well, three, four, two wins out of the first 7 games.
Eight,
Games,
2, 5, and
games.
1. 2, 5, and 1.
What do you think, changed that, it was after the North game which you were winning, and I think Giselle got injured in that
Yeah.
game, and then North came back from 4-1. What do you think changed at that point where everything turned around and your team went on a good run?
Yeah, well, Brooke came back. Brooke was hurt. She got hurt in the second game of the season. And then she came back the North game, and I'm all excited. And I look down and I'm talking to Tom before the game, Miller, and I look down, I see just on the ground, like, oh, like why does God hate me? Like, what's going on here? Now she's hurt. And then, but I think we just made a decision, and we got healthy. Being healthy is also a big, big part of it. We got through the A South. A South was a juggernaut. We got through that. So it's a bunch of little things. It wasn't like I went in the locker room and gave this great speech and all of a sudden we changed. It was a bunch of little things combined with us getting healthy. And then we got to a little bit easier part of the schedule. And then that gave us confidence. And then we started playing the way we thought we should be playing all season.
Now, talk about the difficulty, and I think we talked a little last year, like what separated the top 3 teams in the Shore was they have a couple, you had a couple bench players that you could put in, you lose anything on the field.
Mm-hmm.
How did, especially, coming from a public school where, I know Brick Township too, they struggled, no JV team because just lack of players. How difficult is coaching these games when you don't have a deep bench at all, and you're trying to protect the players, and an injury pops up like Giselle, or I mean, you do have a good backup goalie, but Brooke, 9 times out of 10 is going to be the most talented player on the field for both teams, and you lose her. So how challenging is it to coach when you very limited bench where you only got like 1 or 2 subs?
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Like that's the job I took. We have kids that work hard, and we have talented kids. So they came in, and I want to say we had 5 or 6 starters miss time this year, and kids step up. Like you said, Brooke, you're not going to replace Brooke, but you come in and you play as hard as you can, and that's all we ask. Brooke doesn't get hurt. I think Brooke doesn't hit the post, our season changes. We play Borough. They totally dominate the game. And then we push up the last 10 minutes because if they score again, we lose anyway. So we push up, we score. After getting totally dominated, we now tie the game with like 8 minutes left. And again, they owned us. And then Brooke hits the post like 2 minutes later. If that ball's another inch to the left and goes in, we're packing it in now. Brooke's not dribbling. Brooke doesn't get hurt. And then we don't go 2 weeks without Brooke. So it changed our whole season. That's our second game. Our last game, Maggie doesn't hit the crossbar. So last year, everything went right. Everything went right. Balls hit the crossbar and went in. And, you create your own luck when you score 1 million goals. But this year it wasn't. And that's the beauty of high school sports. It took me a long time to figure out it's really not about winning championships. As much as it hurts me to actually say that, but it's about like being part of these kids' lives and seeing them come back, and then they come back with their kids. And I got a girl now in a couple of years. Her daughter's going to play. She's in middle school now in 6th grade, and then like that's it's special. Like you get to be a high school coach, and it's so special. It's so rewarding, and I absolutely love what I do. I'm surrounded with unbelievable people. I love my staff. Like we have a great AD, a great principal. I have phenomenal coaches. Like I literally ask myself all the time, like I don't know what I did because I'm kind of a jerk. Like, and I don't know what I did to get so lucky and deserve this. It's special. And I don't ever take it for granted that I get to be the coach at Brick Memorial.
How much does it help having an AD and principal that's so supportive on the athletic? Because I do hear stories other there's some lazy ADs out there, and I always see the principal. When he was the AD, he was always at the games, and I saw him at the state game, against Jackson. How much does that help, and help you having that support from the
Yeah,
administration?
we have great people at Brookwell. We do, and right, I mean, from Sarah in the athletic office, the secretary, Jimmy Bright just started doing a great job, and Ed was I coached under every AD we ever had, and we had some good ADs. That's not a slight on anybody. Ed was the cream of the crop, and just it just filters down from there. And our superintendent, Dr. Farrell, was at every game, every state game last year. Like we have the support of the higher ups, and it makes my job so much easier that I could just focus on soccer and on like anything I ask. They'll like unless sometimes I do ask for the world. Like, all right, like, BC, that's enough. Like, but anything I ask for, 99% of the time, it's whatever you need, coach, whatever you need, and like that makes my job so much easier.
One of the last things I wanted to bring up, every year you do a retreat. When did you start doing that, and what was your goal when you first started doing that?
2002 was the first year we did it, and we ended up. And one of my assistant coaches, Joey Leone, we were talking about it, and I was like, I'd like to do something where the kids go and we have to rely on each other, like camping, or like, I mean, everybody has to help each other out, and it builds team bonding. And he's thinking about it. He goes, Coach, like, he's from, I'm from Staten Island, you're from Bricktown. Neither one of us knows anything about camping. I think that's a good point. He's like, my mother-in-law works at a resort in the Catskills. He's like, we'll go there. And then like it was like a Dirty Dancing type of place. And we went there, and we only went for one night, and it was so hard to squeeze everything in, but it was great. And I was like, we have to keep doing this. This is phenomenal. Well, like this is our motto was like, we go away, whatever our number is. We go around with 18 individual girls, and we come home with a team. And then we've gone to a dozen places since, and it's just like the girls love it. Like my goal for you, I'm talking about my girls, is for when you think back to high school, you think back to Brick Memorial, soccer is your first thought. Because that's my first thought. When I think back to Brick Memorial, I was like, I played on the soccer team. And then I have a million other great memories. But my first hardcore, smack me in the face thought is I played soccer for Brick Memorial. And that's what I want for these girls. Like, I want them to be there, whether we won a championship or we won 2 games. I want them to be, we did something special. I was on the girls team at Brick Memorial High School, and I'm proud of that, and that is my best memory. And that, like, I know it's cliche, but like if that's what they leave with, I think I did a good job as a coach, and that's what I want them to be. I want them to be, like, I know you can't. I tell the girls all the time, I know you can't be me. Like, your life's not going to revolve around Brick Memorial soccer, but for the 3 months you're here, make it one of the most important things in your life, and I promise you, it's going to be one of your greatest memories in high school. And I think we go a long way towards doing that. And it's special. And we're, like I said, we're surrounded on special people, special coaches. My best friend JP has been with me for a dozen years, and he came back. And it's a family. It really is. We use family forever, probably overuse it, but it really is. Like in our alumni game, when the kids come back, like, I probably don't watch 1 second of the alumni game. It's just I get to hang out with these kids, and it's like I really can't tell you how much it's special to me, and I hope somehow I make it special to the kids.
I was actually going to bring up the alumni game. I went to one of them, and your players your former players' kids are running around on the sidelines, and that must be special too, seeing how your players grew up into the adults they are, and then as you said, one of your play you're going to be coaching one of your players' kids, in another season or so. So that just shows the family atmosphere you've created over the 30 plus seasons at Brick Memorial. You know.
It is a fun day. It's a great day, and then yeah, we try to create the family line, but the girls have to want to be part of the family. They have to want to come back and bring their kids, and I really believe it's a special place. I have the greatest job in the world. I really do.
This would be my last question. When you first started coaching, did you ever think you would hit 400 wins?
No, I'll tell you what. I did set my goal to win 300 wins.
Okay.
Because I was around, like when my high school coach Woody French, when I came back, I was on staff with him and he won 300 wins, and I was announcing wrestling at the time, and Tony Caravello won his 300th win, and I was like, that's a pretty cool goal to have. So that was my goal. So when I won my 300th win, I was like, I was excited. When I won 400, to be honest with you, it was more reflecting. It was more like I kind of just sat down to the bench and was like, wow, like I'm surrounded with great people. And Brandon Gold wrote in his article, there was only 13 coaches. I had no idea. There was only 13 coaches in the state in girls soccer that have done that. And so like I said, it was more reflective than joy like 300 was. And it was pretty cool to like just sit back and think about all the people I've been in contact with. And it's a lot of games. I've lost over like 100 and something games too. But do I get the 500? I have no idea. Probably not. Probably not. But like I don't plan on going anywhere. Right now, it's too much fun, and I enjoy it. And it's how I identify myself. Like after my family, and I'm a dad and a husband, I'm the coach of Brick Memorial, and that's a big part of how I see myself. So I don't see myself going anywhere soon. But I'm sure there will come the day when I have to, sit up in the bleachers and watch the games. But like right now, I just love what I do so much.
I got one more kind of different. How fun is it to coach in the shore these last couple of years where the level of play has gotten, so close? Because, when I was in school, you had the top teams, and then there was a big gap from like 5 through 10. And
Yeah,
now, this year you had like 12, 14 teams that could have competed, they were competing for
right.
they could have got to the semifinals, Shore Conference tournament. How fun is it to be a coach these days in the Shore Conference, knowing that the competition is so good all around the shore?
It is. That's great. Me and you, we talked about it too. How I think last year we had a lot. We had more great teams. I think I said it's proof that we only have one. That Point Barrow is the only team, and good luck to them
Yeah.
tomorrow. That they're the only team left in the finals. But there is, like you said, 14, 15 really, really good teams this year. And it's fun. It's crazy. It's every game's a battle, and it's awesome for the Shore Conference. I think we're establishing ourselves, if we haven't already, as if not the best conference in the state, which I believe we are. We're darn near close to being one of them, if not the best. And it's a great tribute to all those teams way back in the day that were good. And like I think we were part of that conversation that we strive to get better, to match up with those teams, and now everybody's coming with it. And there's a lot of good teams in there. There's a lot of good coaches. We're seeing young women coaches, right? Shout out to my Annie at Wall, because she's one of mine. But there's a lot of good women coaches now and girls coaches, and that's what the game needs. They don't need old cranky guys like me. We need girls coming back and coaching.
Yes, there is, Annie's doing a great job at Wall. Mary Kate down Central, who you've
Yes,
coached against plenty of
great
times
coach.
already in her short career.
Yeah.
And they're doing great jobs, not just 1 or 2 years. It looks like, those two teams they're going to be in it for the long haul with what they're building down there. So
Yeah. And that's what
has
we need. We need girl coaches, girls, right? Come on back. Be a part of it. Like, it's so rewarding.
how this will be my last question. How exciting is it to you see your former players, because who left Rumson 2 years ago? She played for
Meg,
you,
Megan
and
Visitel, here Megan Visitel.
Coach at Rumson, and then you got Annie. How exciting is it to see former players that you coach coming back to the high school ranks?
It's great. It's great. I love watching them be successful and like it's almost like the proud father. Your kids, your soccer kids are out there doing great things and
Mhm.
and I'm so proud of them and like I still want to kick their butt every time we play them and I'm sure they want to kick the old man's butt too, but it's I'm so proud of those kids. They've done great jobs and like you said, we need more girl coaches. Come on out, girls. Get back involved.
All right, Coach. I appreciate you taking time out today, and congratulations on another good season. I know it didn't end the way you wanted, but it was a very successful season for Brick Memorial. You, reached 400 wins, made it to the semifinals of the sectional. And what's next for Brick Memorial next year?
Yeah, well, we'll try to reload and see what in the last 2 years we graduated a lot of talented kids. So we're A South is just as tough, probably tougher now. You got Lacey coming in, so we
Oh,
have our hands full. But it's gonna, we're gonna start in July and work as hard as we can and become a family. And we're gonna and wherever whatever happens, happens. But we're gonna work our hardest. I know that.
yeah. Besides Brooke and Giselle, Jordan's graduating, who had a great season for you.
Right, and
And May,
Maggie was our leading scorer.
And Matt, yeah, and Matt, the big question was who was going to take over the scoring, and Maggie did a great job
Yeah,
this season for you. So a couple pieces, but like you said, it's time for somebody else to step up in those roles.
yeah, yeah. That's it. That's what we
Uh,
do.
all right, Coach. Thank you, and thank you everyone, and good luck to Point Borough tomorrow afternoon. I'll see you guys up there.
Thanks for having me. Have a
No
great
problem.
Thanksgiving.
You too. Thank you, Coach.